Hello everyone, my name is Vera and welcome back to another project analysis, and in today's video we'll be talking all about the upcoming executive condominium Aurelle of Tampines. If you are eyeing for this hybrid private property, you have came to the right place because I'm going to be talking all about the must-know facts and review before application. Let's go! So actually, I was trying to squeeze this video out so that you guys can watch it over the Chinese New Year weekend. I hope you guys enjoy this video analysis of Aurelle because this is actually a very exciting launch, especially when it is located at Tampines North and it is also right beside the upcoming development ParkTown, which I'm going to be doing an analysis video. Is going to be up by the time this video comes up as well. So why am I so excited for Aurelle of Tampines? First of all, ECs are actually located at secluded areas. Like you can tell those in Punggol, Woodlands, they are usually at the outskirts of Singapore because it is on a subsidized land. However, Aurelle of Tampines is different. It is located just 5 minutes walk away from the upcoming Tampines North MRT. That is just super convenient, and there's also amenities nearby which I'm going to be running through later. So without further ado, let us dive into Aurelle of Tampines and its project information. Okay, first of all, as you can see, the developer is actually Sim Lian. Contractor likewise is also Sim Lian. They are both the contractor and developer for Aurelle of Tampines. Okay, so there are 760 units, of which there are 14 blocks of 14 stories with basement car park and full facilities. Within this basement car park, there are actually 608 lots with 7 EV charging points, of which there are 5 handicap lots with 1 EV charging point as well. Now, the estimated date of vacant possession is actually 2028. Actually, the location for Aurelle is very interesting because it is located at Tampines North. So Tampines North, right, it is a brand new growing township within a mature estate, which is Tampines for sure. Not only that, we are actually within the golden triangle of urban transformation. Now, what do I mean by that? We have the Punggol Digital District. We also have the redevelopment of Paya Lebar Airbase and also the Changi District. So these three regions are actually major because they have massive growth. So what I want to highlight, right, that this is important. Why? Because in future, the Paya Lebar Airbase will actually be redeveloped. They will be moving out. They will be vacated probably in year 2030-ish. So once they move out, right, this can actually create about 150,000 new homes. It also means that there will be height restriction being lifted. As you can tell, Tampines blocks, they are actually quite low rise. They are about like 15, 16, 17 floors around there. They cannot go anywhere higher than that because of the Paya Lebar Airbase. Now, if they are going to be moving out, obviously this height restriction will be lifted, and this can in turn result in better use of land, which means that there will be an increase in the surrounding land value. So with that in mind, right, since Tampines North is located right beside the Paya Lebar Airbase, when there's a height restriction being lifted up, right, actually it means that Tampines North will benefit the most. Tampines will benefit the most. Before the township is formed, there will be job opportunities there. With job opportunities there, it means that there will be demand for housing, which in turn creates buyers and tenants. So for Aurelle, if you're going to be staying here, there is actually high rentability because there will be job opportunities nearby, about 28,000 new jobs created, and obviously tenants, buyers will be needing a place to stay near their workplace. Okay, so now moving on to the connectivity. So Aurelle is actually located 5 minutes walk away from the upcoming Tampines North MRT station. And as you can tell, what do I mean by connectivity? Because of this cross island line, right, you can have access to Hougang, Ang Mo Kio, Bright Hill, even to Pasir Ris, Expo, Tampines and Jewel. And because of the cross island line, you are also directly connected to purple, red, blue and brown line. Super convenient. Regarding the proximity to schools, within 1 km, right, for the parents out there, there is actually Angsana, Elias Park and Parkview, all within 1 km from Aurelle. Okay, now moving on to the site map. As you can tell, this is where Aurelle is. It is located beside the TPE. However, comparing to Ternate is right here, okay? Regarding the distance wise, right, it's actually not too near. From Ternate and Aurelle, there is a distance of actually 22 meters and 28 meters respectively. Yeah, so you are not too close to your neighbor. And not only that, with Ternate being here, right, the blocks, if you can do a simple Google search, the blocks, right, are actually directly facing TPE. Okay, whereas for Aurelle themselves, the blocks here are mostly north-south facing. Not every unit here is north-south facing, but most of the units here are north-south facing. Most important thing is that none of the units here are actually directly facing the TPE. So of course, with this in mind, it actually reduces the potential road noise that's coming from the road lah. Now regarding the landscaping, Aurelle is a point block. So what I mean by that, it means that there are actually 4 units per level. This is why when each unit is taking up a corner, every kitchen and bathroom actually has window because of the landscaping. This is why every unit here in Aurelle has natural ventilation. Now with 4 units compared to private, right, where there are about like 8 to 9 units per level with 2 to 3 lifts, it actually prevents overcrowding and it really helps to spread out the crowd in the development. So now with regards to the unit view, right, it is very interesting because all of these units here have 2 views. It's either a garden view or a pool view. Okay, so this is something that I would like to add on. I forgot to raise it up while I was filming for this video. So as you can see, for block 65 and 67, they are actually directly facing the electrical substation, and some buyers raised their concern to me saying that it is very near to it. So they worry that living near an electrical substation is no good due to the pollution and the health risks. But to be honest, the government wouldn't place it there without proper regulations. So just like how P1 and B2 industrial buildings, right, they do have minimum distance requirements from residential areas. So actually similar considerations apply here. Now since the substation is here to stay, right, here's a tip. For the units at stack 51, 52, 55 and 56, I would think that they will be priced lower because of their facing. So go for level 7 and above, because this way your unit might be cheaper and you can also get a high floor view. And just now I also mentioned that with Turnet right beside, right, there is actually a good distance of 22 meters and 28 meters, right? Now most buyers out there, their concerns to me actually is that they don't want to be facing the other block directly. Okay, so for Turnet, right, the people here, don't worry, even though you don't have a pool view, okay, from Aurelle, you actually have a pool view from Turnet. Not only that, you are not facing your neighbors because your neighbors at Turnet are facing this way, not facing this way. Just now I also mentioned that the development, right, is actually designed in a way whereby it is north-south facing and it is not directly facing the TPE. So this can actually reduce your noise level by a lot that is coming from the road. And not only that, the developers are actually very considerate. Why I say so? So you can see, right, from the circles here, those with the orange circles, right, they actually have this thing called the zip lines. So these zip lines actually, they can help to reduce your noise even further. Okay, not all units comes with this, okay, but those that is nearer to the road comes with this noise reduction system. Okay, now let's talk about land price bids for ECs and why I believe at a later part of the video you can see why I feel Aurelle might be priced this way. Okay, just a quick disclaimer of the developer hasn't officially released the prices yet, but based on market trend, here is my take. So if you look at this chart, you will notice that the land prices have been rising steadily over the years. So this upward trend will naturally impact the pricing of new EC launches. Okay, so now what do I mean by that? When we dive into the details, orange rectangle represents the land cost that the developer bid for and how much it was sold for to the developer, and the blue rectangle represents the per square foot that it was sold for the unit. So we can see here, North Gaya was actually purchased by the developer at 507 per square foot per plot ratio. So they sold it at 1,305 PSF. Going on to Copen Grand, developer bought it at 603 PSF PBR and sold it at 1,340 per square foot. And of course, we can see here that there's an upward trend with Novo Place 703 per square foot per plot ratio, which the developer bought at, and they sold it at 1,654 per square foot. Now, actually we can see here prices are continuing to rise, but why is it that developers are still able to sell it? Why is it that we still see keen interest among these buyers? So just for context, right, Lumina Grand was sold at 53% on launch day, Park Central 59%, Turnet, which is right beside the upcoming Aurelle at 72% on launch day, and Copen Grand at 73% on launch day. And of course, we have the last one, Novo Place, which is the first EC that is right beside that is very near MRT, 57% on launch day, even at 1,654 per square foot. Now, actually looking at this data, right, we can see that ECs actually reflect keen interest among first-time buyers and HDB upgraders, especially for well-located and thoughtfully designed properties, which actually Sim Lian is known for this. So Aurelle of Tampines, as mentioned, the developer is Sim Lian. Okay, so we can actually have an example. The recent launch Emerald of Katong, they actually sold it at 99% on launch day itself. So that's why we feel for Tampines Street 62, as you can see here, Parcel B, which is now known as Aurelle, the developer bought it at 7:1 per square foot per plot ratio. This is why I feel that Aurelle might be launched at about 1.6 to 1.7 per square foot. With an EC price at 1.6k PSF, how is it still safe in today's time? So back then in 2013, there was actually a new EC and a new private that was launched together at the same time, around the same time in February 2013. Okay, here we have CityLife and Cube Residences for today's case study. CityLife is the EC, whereas Cube is a new private development. Now, we can see that CityLife, right, those that actually make money are big or small units. EC are definitely big units, ma. And also, even if let's say we look at the EC for the small units, maybe the 3-bedder, minimum also make how much? Minimum also make 500k. Okay, why? Because Tampines is usually big family profile one. You can tell that most people here, they are families, they are looking to buy a big house, so the demand is actually always there. But then, as you can see, let's take a look at Cube, right? The purchase price of about 3 to 400 per square foot more. You're paying for 3 to 400 per square foot more for a smaller unit with the same unit type. So actually big units, right, as you can tell, it ultimately still play a very good exit strategy for Tampines owners. That's why in Tampines, right, you can see that there was never once we have low profit, because everyone here loves big unit here because of the profiles. There is 4i units, there is 5a, there is EA, EM, especially EMs. There are a lot of EMs right here in Tampines. That is why CityLife had this profit. Looking at it, right, for CityLife 3-bedroom units, using apple-to-apple comparison, CityLife versus Cube 3-bedroom units, the size range was actually 1,098 to 1,518 units, 18 square feet, whereas Cube 3-bedroom units were starting smaller from 904 square feet all the way to 1,464 square feet. So these both condos located at Tampines, both at good location. However, one actually performs significantly better than the other. Okay? Historically, buyers preferred CityLife over Cube. Why? Bigger unit, lower price. Of course, it makes more sense to go for CityLife. This is why CityLife and Cube had these sales for transaction respectively. It is because of the price gap. Private condo and EC located side by side. Will buyers go to the cheaper one if the layout is also similar, if not better? This is why we can see here there has consistently been a price gap between new ECs and new private condos. Not only that, this price gap has been widening every year. And because of this gap, we can then see the kind of profits that the past EC buyers have actually made. Here we can see CityLife already transacted at $1.3 million profit, Quintet at $1.01 million profit, and Trillion at 972k. If you see when they actually buy, and they actually bought it during launch, and when they sold it, if we break it down, within these 10-11 years, these ECs actually appreciated by about 100k per year on average. Now looking at Aurelle, estimated launch prices are about 1.6 to 1.7 PSF, and ParkTown, which is 2.4 to 2.5k PSF. With that, there is already a difference of $700 to $900 per square foot. Now with an EC that's going to be launching together with a private condo, how will this affect your sales? Now if you go for a ParkTown residence, there might be a good chance that you want to exit quickly because it just takes a few years to build. And if you were to get ParkTown at about 2.3 to 2.4k per square foot, right, it's actually a very good bonus. However, if we were to compare it with Aurelle, the per square foot difference is a whopping 5 to 900 per square foot difference. Alright, so we have to talk about in 5 to 8 years time. By then, who will be buying from me? So this is when we come to the layout, which is very important in terms of your exit strategy as well. What kind of layout you want to go for. Okay, so looking at the unit mix here in Aurelle, as you can see, there is no 1 to 2 bedroom units because for EC, they usually start from 3 bedroom onwards lah, because it is a government subsidized housing and the government usually want to cater to those HDB upgraders with families or even those first time home buyers that are trying to start one. Okay, so take note, there is no 1 and 2 bedders here in Aurelle. So looking at the unit mix, right, the majority actually comes from the 3 bedroom, which is about 65.8%, whereas for the 4 bedroom, there is 30.5%, and the 5 bedroom only takes up about 3.7% of the unit distribution here in Aurelle. Without further ado, let us dive right into the layouts. So here we have the 3 bedroom compact, type C1. This is the smallest one in Aurelle, 840 square feet. And it is in blocks 45, 47, 57, 59, 61 and 63. And the 3 bedrooms are actually located in 12 different stacks. Okay, this one we are talking about the 3 bedroom compact. So there are 164 units, which takes up about 21.5% of the units right here in Aurelle. Looking at the site map first, right, you can see that they are actually sandwiched. They are in the middle. Most of the 3 bedrooms here are actually in the middle of the development. So for the 3 bedroom compact, it's actually a pretty standard layout. You come in, there is already an L-shaped kitchen right here for you. There is a household shelter. Your dining area is here. You have all your 3 bedrooms tucked in at one side. And of course, you have your master bedroom ensuite. Moving on, we have the 3 bedroom premium. So this unit type is actually featured in a show flat. Okay, this is the type C2P, 872 square foot, and it is located in the blocks stated here. I've already outlined it in red. And the stacks wise, there are actually 4 more stacks compared to the 3 bedroom previously. There are actually 16 stacks for the 3 bedroom premium. So that takes up about 28.1% of the units here in Aurelle of Tampines. Comparing 3 bedroom premium and the 3 bed, right, the 872 square feet and the 840 square feet. The 840 square feet, you can tell, right, once you walk in, you can directly see the kitchen already. Yeah, so anybody that walks past, your friend come in, they can see you cooking lah. They also have a household shelter. Whereas for the 3 bedroom premium, what is actually the key difference between these two and why I actually prefer the 3 bedroom premium is because we have a dedicated yard space and also a WC, which the 840 square feet one do not have. In terms of the kitchen facing, just now I mentioned that the 840 square feet, the kitchen facing is directly facing the entrance. But for the 872 square feet, right, the kitchen facing is different in a way whereby it is actually facing the walkway of your the walkway towards your room. It's not facing the entrance. Lastly, for the placement and the orientation of the household shelter, 872 square feet, the household shelter is actually located right beside the yard. So you have to enter your kitchen in order to access your household shelter, which I feel is more, I'm more comfortable that way because it's hidden from when your friends come in, they don't straight away see the household shelter. Whereas for 840 square feet, you come in, you can see both the kitchen and also the household shelter immediately already. Why would I rather much prefer the 3 bedroom premium is also because there are a lot more units compared to the 3 bedroom. Okay, there are more choices for you. For 3 bedroom premium, there are 16 stacks. Whereas for the 3 bedroom, there are only 12 stacks. So there are more choices for me, more flexibility for me as well. So this gives me more option during the booking day, right? So personally, I think the kicker for me would be the yard and the WC lah. I would need a yard and a WC. Okay, so now coming on to the 3 bed plus study, we have 2 different kinds of units here for the 3 bedroom plus study. First, we have the type C3S and the type C4S, 926 square feet and 947 square feet respectively. So for the type C3S, it is available in 4 different stacks. Same goes for the type C4S as well. But for the type C4S, there are actually 68 units, and type C3S is lesser, which is 54 units. So the difference for the 3 bedroom plus study, to be honest, is not much, but once again, I have my preferred unit. So my preferred unit is the 947 square feet one. Now, the difference is actually not drastic. It's really not drastic, okay? They are actually quite mirror image lah. Oh, and I forgot to mention, all the units here, right, their kitchen and their toilet all comes with a window. Not only that, it also comes with a washer cum dryer. So EC, right, they usually don't have fridge, and the developer also will not provide any washer dryer for you. But for Aurelle, same thing, they don't have the fridge, but it comes with a washer cum dryer. Back to what we were saying, the 3-bedroom plus study. Even though you can see it is just a mirror image, okay, you flip around, is here and there, is actually quite the same. But personally, I still have a preferred one. I will choose the 947 square feet one simply because of the placement and the orientation of the household shelter. So what do I mean by that? For type C3S, right, you can see that the household shelter is actually located in the middle of the living area. So this household shelter actually eats up into my living space. Whereas compared to the type C4S, there is a dedicated spot just for my household shelter. So it doesn't eat into my living space. And secondly, there is also a dedicated space for my dining area. So when I come in, this is the dining area. Okay, there's actually a pocket for the dining area. Whereas for type C3S, once again, there's literally nowhere else for you to put your dining area other than this part lor. Yeah, technically you can put your dining area here lah, but because there is a household shelter there. So in terms of flexibility, it's not there, and I would really rather much prefer for my household shelter to be kept at the corner instead of it jutting out in the middle of my living room space, which in turn eats the space of my living room. One last key difference between the 926 and the 947 square feet, right? For the 926 square feet, you cannot see what's happening in the living room while you are cooking. Whereas compared to the 947 square feet, this thing here, right, this is actually full glass. I can see through while I'm cooking, you know, if let's say my kids are in the living room, or you know, I want to be chatting with my friends while they are eating their dinner, I can be doing so while I wash the dishes. The layout for the kitchen is slightly different lah. In terms of carpentry, right, definitely 926 will have more because it is all at the side, right? So you can have both top and bottom cabinets. Whereas compared to the 947 square feet, because there is glass there already, there is no carpentry up there for you. This is the reason why I would prefer the 947 square feet if I were to just to compare the 3 plus study units. So for the 3-bedroom, this one, the 872 square feet one, is going to be super cheap. In fact, about $1.4 million for a 3-bedroom with everything in, your yard, your bomb shelter, everything in, except that there is no study only lah. So normal 3-bedroom, I will choose this. But if you really want a study, then I will suggest for you to go to the 947 square feet, not just because of the study, but also because of the layout. The household shelter juts out and it eats up the living room space. We have come to the 4-bedroom compact. We have the type D1 in 1023 square feet. Now this is also featured in the show flat, okay? So if you guys want to come down and have a look, the preview is actually coming soon. Not sure when is it yet exactly, but you can keep a lookout of the description box of this video because I will update this description accordingly. Okay, so for the 4-bedroom, there's a pretty standard layout lah. After looking at the layout, actually I realized that comparing the 3 plus study 947 square feet and the 4-bedroom at 1023 square feet, right, I would actually just go for the 4-bed compact, okay? Because in terms of the per square foot, right, 947, because it's a smaller unit, I will just assume it as 1700 PSF, right? If I times the square feet of 947, it is 1.609 million. Whereas for the 4-bedroom, since it's a bigger unit, I will just use 1650 as an estimate price. I multiply it, it's 1.687 million. Now since both is 1.6 million, right, if the price gap is less than 100k, and if you can afford it, please just go for it. Because at 1.6 to 1.7 million dollars, I think this price is very good already. Okay, now coming to the 4-bedroom flexi, we have it at 1206 square feet and the type D3F, which is 1195 square feet. To be honest, both of them, they do not have a big difference, okay? It's just mirror image of one another. The only difference, which is actually very slight, right, is that the 1,206 square feet one, right, it has a bigger yard. It has a longer yard. Comparing to 1,195 square feet one, the yard is actually shorter. And for the living as well, we can see that it's longer now. And they actually have this carved out line here. It's flexible for you. You can add a room, or you can even put your dining table for these lah. Okay, usually for me, I think I will put the dining area rather than create one more room. It really depends on your family needs. Okay, other than that, they are all the same. The placement is all the same. Bedrooms are also all tucked at one side. And you also have your WC and your yeah. Okay, now coming to the 4-bedroom premium, this actually has more units compared to the 4-bed flexi lah. It has 6 stacks. It is in 6 stacks and it consists of 84 units. Now, this is when we have a dry kitchen. Okay, so starting from 4-bedroom premium, there is now a dry kitchen. Before that, all don't have, okay? Now, dry kitchen here already. Walk in is your kitchen, L-shaped kitchen. Likewise, you have your WC, your yard, your household shelter. Now, for this, right, we have an ensuite bathroom. Other than that, the rest of the bedrooms, you all have to share this common bedroom here, lor. The common toilet over here. So, 3 bedrooms have to share 1 toilet here. Now for the dining area, we can see that the only place, right, that you can put your dining table is actually at the living area behind your sofa. So in terms of configuration, there's literally not much that you can do because you cannot put your dining table here anymore. So this is why for the 4-bedroom flexi, both types and also the bedroom premium, out of these 3, right, my preferred is actually the 1,195 square feet one, which is the type D3F. Now why is this so? In terms of configuration, right, actually for the 4-bedroom flexi, I have more configuration because I can put my dining area here ma. Right? This one, I won't put it here lah, okay? But if I want to, I can. I actually have that option. Whereas compared to 4-bedroom premium, there's literally nowhere else I can put my dining table other than that spot over there. So even if I want to create a room, I cannot. Because where else would I put my dining table? I cannot be squeeze it with the living room space here ma. Right? So in terms of configuration, right? Configuration 1 for 1,195 square feet is where I can just stick with what they suggested for me, which is to have my dining area here. And then at this dotted line here, I can either leave it empty or just create a study area there. Configuration 2 is I don't put my dining table here, but I shift it here. Okay, so I can have a wider living room. And this part will be empty already. Maybe I can even put a full-length shoe cabinet over there. Okay, there's more flexibility here. Whereas compared to the 4-bed premium, because the dry kitchen is here already, right, the only place where I can put my dining table is at this side. I cannot even create a study, an extra room if I want to, because there is nowhere else where I can put my dining table already. Right, so see lor, if let's say you all really need a dry kitchen, is a dry kitchen really necessary, right? So if I want to compare, I will see whether the 4-bedroom premium, see which one is cheaper compared to the 4-room flexi without the dry kitchen. Like I said, the 1,206 and 1,195 square feet, to be honest, there is not much difference other than the length of the yard. And one more thing is, for the 1,195 square feet, there is actually more options. So hence, this is why I will go for the 4-bed flexi 1,195 square feet. More units and more configuration options. Okay, now coming to the 5-bedroom, this is the biggest unit that we have here in Aurelle. It is in stack 27 and 30, both facing pool. So this takes up the least percentage of the units here in Aurelle at 3.7%, 28 units only. So this one, our balcony is actually a lot longer and it stretches the whole living room. It doesn't eat up into the bedroom side. And we have the master bedroom ensuite, we have a junior master ensuite. So take note, right, that bedroom 3, 4 and 5, they don't have their own toilet, okay? They will have to probably use bathroom 3 already. And also we have a dry kitchen and a L-shaped kitchen for you. And we have a glass here that is overseeing the dining area. Likewise, yard, household shelter and the WC. Okay, now that we have seen all the layout in Aurelle, right, I'm going to be comparing Aurelle, which is a new upcoming condo that is yet to be built, versus Treasure at Tampines, a resale condo which you can easily move into, and why I will still choose Aurelle. Now first of all, simply because it's because of the difference in the profit. Okay, once you move in, what will your profit be when you want to sell and exit next time? And second of all is the layout is a lot better in Aurelle compared to Treasure. So let us start off with the 5-bedroom comparison for Aurelle versus Treasure, since that is where we left off. So we can see between Aurelle and Treasure there is a difference of size already, about 300 square feet. If I were to take the highest per square foot at 1,700 launch, right, PSF, the highest that Aurelle will be selling at is at $2.3 million. By then, 5 to 8 years later, when you want to sell Aurelle 5-bedroom, how much will you be able to exit then? Prices in the vicinity at Treasure is already accepted at $2.7 to $2.8 million. Now for the 4-bedroom comparison for Aurelle and Treasure, I took the Aurelle 4-bed Flexi and Treasure's 4-bed Compact. Now Treasure's 4-bed Compact, clearly it's bigger compared to the 4-bed Flexi here, but why do I still prefer the Aurelle layout? Let me show you where most of the space actually went to and why is it bigger for the Treasure one. Look at the balcony. The balcony actually goes to the bedroom side, whereas for Aurelle, it fits nicely at the living room. And then secondly, look at the yard. For Treasure, the yard is super long. Yard in Aurelle is just nice. And third of all, there is no household shelter in Treasure. It's being replaced by a utility room. Yep, so it's either you get the household shelter in Aurelle or the utility in Treasure. This is why, as you can see from the price comparison between Aurelle and Treasure, if I were to work with estimate, since 4-bedroom is a big unit, I'm going to work with a range from 1,650 all the way to 1,700 per square foot. Now these prices are definitely not given by the developer, these are just my thoughts, okay? So now we can see that Treasure 4-bedroom, even though it is bigger, right? You can see that at 1,270 square feet, prices there are being accepted at $2.28 million already. Now, if I were to look at the estimates and the range given, we are working at about $1.97 million to $2.03 million already. So with that, right, there's actually a difference of $257,000 already. By then, when you are ready to sell your unit at Aurelle, how much would you then be able to price it when there is already a $257K gap between Aurelle and Treasure? Okay, now coming to the 3-bedroom comparison for Aurelle and Treasure, I use type C7 as a comparison using Treasure one because it's very similar and close to the size in Aurelle for the 3-bed premium. Okay, so for most of the layouts in Treasure for their 3-bed, right, most of them actually do not come with an enclosed kitchen. Okay, so you can see here for Treasure one, right, there is no enclosed kitchen and the kitchen do not have a window. Whereas for Aurelle, it's an enclosable kitchen and it comes with a window. And likewise, the balcony is irregular shape, alright, not like your Aurelle balcony. And also, there is no household shelter for your Treasure, okay? Whereas for Aurelle, you have your household shelter. But anyways, yes, there is no household shelter for Treasure. It's an open kitchen, and the kitchen also has no window. So in terms of layout, Aurelle 3-bedroom definitely won Treasure by a lot. Once again, you can see that I'm working within a range again. Now since 3-bedder is definitely smaller than a 4-bedder, I am giving it a higher range from $1,680 to $1,750 per square foot. So you can see here the prices in Treasure are actually accepted at $1.7 million already. If let's say we are going to work with this estimate for Aurelle, we are going at about $1.4 million to $1.52 million. And this difference is already $174K. By then, once Aurelle MOP and you are ready to sell your flat, when the time when your Aurelle MOPs and you are ready to sell your unit here, where will buyers be looking at? Treasure will definitely be one of the main comparisons because it is not too far off in age. However, looking at the layout, which I have done a comparison earlier, which layout will the buyers actually go for that they will feel that they are not wasting money on? So the future prices for Aurelle actually is very heavily dependent on the surrounding BTOs, which can help to push up your prices at Aurelle. Okay, so now we take a look. These people right here, okay, are actually our future exit in Tampines. So just by looking at these 6 different BTO developments, right, and I'm only talking about those that is going to MOP in 2030 to 2032. Just within these 6 developments, there are 4,807 units. Bear in mind, I haven't put in those that already MOP, which is Green Ridges, that has already MOP'd a few years ago. I've also not counted those at Pasir Ris. So with all that in mind, right, there are actually easily more than 10,000 HDB upgraders available for you. Alright, so these are actually our future exit in Tampines. So how much do these BTO actually cost, and how will these HDB upgraders afford to push up your prices at Aurelle? So for our exit strategy, as you can see here, I have taken all the selected choice units from the first half of the video. So starting from 3-bedroom of 1,700 PSF, you can see that as I go bigger in terms of the bedrooms, from the 4 to the 5 bedrooms, the PSF is getting smaller because of the unit size as well. So now for the 3-bedroom, assuming it's a 1,700 per square foot, their estimated launch price is about $1.482 million. Now after a target profit of 30%, this means that the 3-bedroom sellers at Aurelle will be looking at a selling price of $1.927 million, which means the profit is about 444.7k. After doing my calculation, we also have to see who will then be able to buy your unit in the future. Take note that future buyers, they'll be purchasing based on TDSR. So back then when you purchase, because it's an EC, it's based on MSR. That's why the loan is not as high. But your future buyers will be purchasing based on TDSR of 55%. So this means that the banks will actually grant them a higher loan. Now as we can see on this column here, for your 3-bedroom, your future buyer's down payment is actually 547.7k, and this is inclusive of the stamp duty as well. Taking Greenway for example, because it just recently MOP'd, the highest transacted was already at 950,000. Now, looking back, how much did they actually bought it for? This particular unit was actually bought at $375,000, okay? Now back then, LTV for HDB was 80%. So they would have taken an 80% loan, which is 300k. If let's say they were to sell it at the 5th year mark, they would have an outstanding loan of $254,494. Now I take the selling price and I minus the remaining outstanding loan. Their sales profit is actually $695,000. So here, you can obviously see that they are able to pay for the down payment very easily. Coming to your 4-bedroom at 1195 square feet, I would estimate the price at about 1,650 per square foot. The estimated launch price is $1.971 million, and after a target profit of 30%, your profit is 591k. So that means you will have to sell at $2.563 million. This means your future buyer's down payment is 738.5k. Since I am using a conservative price of the current BTO MOP prices, next time when we want to sell 5 to 8 years later, how much will the prices be for all the surrounding MOP blocks? By then, the down payment will then be easily covered by the buyers. Now, my main concern is actually the 5-bedroom unit. At the same 2.8 million price point, buyers will need to fork out about 815k in down payment. That's a pretty big jump from the 4 and the 3-bedroom, to be honest. The pool of buyers for a 5-bedder might not be as wide compared to the 3 and 4-bedroom units. In fact, the 4-bedder actually looks quite doable based on this. So it really comes down to future buyers' income levels, who can comfortably afford it. Now, not saying the 5-bedder won't be able to sell, but for the majority, it might be tighter in terms of affordability unless they have a lot of cash or CPF, or they're sitting on high HDB selling price. That being said, I did a search and actually I realized that there's a very limited supply of 5 bedrooms in this area, even with the project itself also. And because of this lack of supply, we've seen cases like Treasure at Tampines, where the 5-bedder had the highest profit margin in the resale market due to the strong demand. So we can see that the highest transacted prices there is $950,000 plus, already close to $1 million. So in the future, when we are going to exit, right, how much would these HDBs that's going to meet MOP in 2030 to 2032 be valued at? Will they be selling it at above $1 million? By then, will your exit be very safe then? Alright, so that is all from me. We have come to the end of the video. Now, before you go down to the show flat, ensure that you do your proper homework correctly, especially for ECs, because they have a lot of conditions that you will have to meet before buying an EC. I hope after watching this video, it has helped you to plan on how to buy Aurelle or maybe the upcoming ECs as well. With that being said, remember that buyers are subjected to MSR for ECs. If you want to do a personal consultation before heading down to the show flat, feel free to drop me a call or give me a text. My number is on the screen and in the description box below. Till then, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!